Hi, my name is Khalid and I'm a physiotherapist by profession. I have 2 year experience as a clinical physiotherapist and now I'm studying strength and conditioning sciences and I'm working with athlete as a strength and conditioning coach. So in this video, I will be discussing the importance of reflective practice in my coaching. Reflective practice is critical to professional development and growth in any field, including strength and conditioning. It involves taking time to reflect on your own actions, your decision as a coach, and considering what you have done differently. So from the start of the Samba, I was working with an adult athlete that he was a footballer named Razi, 29-year-old from a local club. So it was a part of my postgraduate study. When I just started working with him on my first day, I asked him few questions regarding his training routine and his goals he want to achieve. After that, he asked me some of the basic questions and which type of sport specific exercises are good for him or not. After discussing some basic information, asked him to do some warm-up exercises and I wrote down some plyometrics like drop jump, counter movement, box jump and barbell back squats for his lower body strength. Firstly, I performed and he could do that afterward or follow me. I was not able to react and interact properly with him. I missed a lot of verbal and non-verbal cues, which led me to more miscommunication. I did not explain him about the technical model of exercises. I ignored lots of technical component of the technical models. So I had a kind of mixed feelings during and after session. I was not able to express and transmit my feelings properly, but I felt bad about the whole situation. It was quite stressful for me. I felt embarrassed about the whole situation, and it was as depressing for me as I worked so hard in my coaching skills for SNC. But felt in that I was not ready and still had my shortcomings to overcome. I could have done better and I could have avoided such situations. On the other hand, I also experienced feeling of satisfaction and joy since as a result of this placement I advanced in my area of my profession somehow, although I was somewhat disappointed. I was grateful to my strength and conditioning sciences studies for helping me recognize flaws in my practice, and I would have found difficult to recognize my own. Although it would take time, I was now motivated to establish new objectives and excel in my profession as a strength and conditioning coach. Nevertheless persisted in asking him questions and undergoing physical training unrelated to expected goals. I believe that the athlete felt that his opinion was not listened to, which was bad for our relationship. I also failed to communicate, like my non-verbal and communication and lack of active listening also contributed to this regard. Moreover, my eye contact were limited as I was consistently shifting my eyes on the sheet to write down something. I did something I had rarely done before. I asked my athlete about his expectations from me. I did this to clarify certain facts about the athlete's training session. My client didn't look confident at all in our first session. The reason being as he was an amateur football player and recently had lower limb injury, so he was very conscious about learning something new about exercise. I didn't take this thing into consideration and ignored this aspect completely. I did not explain him about the whole new thing concept of plyometric exercises, which was novice things for him to deal with it. So I could not explain what exercises we would do and how would we perform those exercises. Moreover, I did not explain about the frequency of the exercises and the mechanism of the exercises, that which plyometric exercises would improve his strength. I completely ignored his recent injury and did not impart him any confidence that under my observation he would not have any risk of injury, and what are the risk factors which could potentially lead to the injury following plyometric exercises. My whole focus was on the end result, and I kept on saying that the plyometric exercises would increase his lower body strength, and ignoring all other factors which were very important to explain, and the failure to unravel these led to his mistrust and lack of confidence as my athlete towards my approach. Looking back has helped me to see what I ought to have done differently. I should have actively listening to my athlete by paying attention to what he said, investigating his ideas, and attempting to, comprehend his expectations. I ought to have improved both my verbal and non-verbal communication in order to make the most of the opportunity to build a coaching relationship. So this action plan was built around two key ideas, like expanding my knowledge and developing my skills by working in gym and field. So I started reading literature about it and focus more on this aspect. I needed to practically keep advancing my coaching fundamentals, and two main measures can be taken to this. The first stage is to become more focused on athletes by practicing more active listening and trying to pay attention to their words, personal objectives and expectations, and non-verbal cues. So I worked on my verbal communication by asking open questions, summarizing and clarifying when needed. Non-verbally, I try to use more body language and have warmer behavior. I try to be more enthusiastic, using more acknowledgement and reassurance. After reflecting back on the whole scenario, I decided to change my approach towards athlete and devise a more athletic center approach that would cover all the missing fundamental aspects which I missed in early sessions. I began by taking him into confidence and started all again. Firstly, I gave him confidence that these exercises under observation would not be a source of injuries. Secondly, I explained him about the plyometric exercises. What are these exercises, why we do this, how we perform these, why we have selected these exercises from the plyometric exercises for our training, and what benefit these exercises have in athletes. I also explained him about the frequency and repetition, as well as the scenario in which we would not be performing these exercises. In my coaching, reflective practice helped me to evaluate my strengths and weaknesses and identify area for improvement. It allowed me to reflect my coaching style and the method I use to help my athlete reach their goals. I can also reflect on my communication skills, including how I interact with my athlete and other member of coaching staff. So another way I practice reflective coaching is by seeking feedback from the athletes. I encourage open and honest communication, and I make a point to listen to their feedback, both positive and negative. This helps me to gain new perspective and insight, and able to continually improve as a coach. In conclusion, reflective practice is essential tool for professional development and growth as a strength and conditioning coach. It helps me to evaluate my strengths and weaknesses and identify areas for improvement, and continue to grow as a strength and conditioning coach. By incorporating reflective practice into my coaching, I am able to provide my athlete with the best possible coaching and support as they work towards their goals.